look to our right, there's an okapi walking around. He's hanging out way in the back there. The okapi is known for his black and white colors. Because of that, a lot of people believe he is a relative to the zebra, but he is the only known living relative of a giraffe.
Huh.
Now the way we can tell he's related to the giraffe is by looking at his face there. His skull structure is pretty much the exact same shape of a giraffe skull, except his is just a little bit smaller in size. So it's pretty cool that they have pretty much the same faces. We'll keep on going around here because we're not too far away from a watering hole. Very social spot for a lot of these animals. A lot of them like to hang out here, drink the water, of course, and they do throw some pretty cool parties every now and then. I don't see anyone here. But actually, looks like someone's asleep over here on our left side. This is one of the black rhinos. Looks like it's sleeping in, still taking its afternoon nap. Now, the black rhino, the average one of them, they weigh about 3,000 pounds. Even though they weigh that much, a black rhino could still charge at around 35 miles per hour. A very fast speed for an animal that weighs that much. We'll keep on looking down here. A lot of the animals out here use camouflage, so I'm trying to check behind all the bushes, all the trees. See if there's anything back here. Actually, yeah, there's a couple of different antelope on our left side. The darker orange ones, these are the bongos. The lighter gray one you see up there is the greater kudu. Now, the bongos are actually really cool antelope with one of the coolest nicknames out here called the Ghost of the Forest. They got that nickname because of those horns, and I'll talk more about that in a second. You also see one of the greater kudu up there with the gray fur. Looks like there's two of them. The greater kudu is the second largest antelope you could find out in Africa. Now the reason why the bongo's horns got their nicknames is because their horns face backwards, so they never get stuck in bushes or branches. They run around at very fast speeds. They run around so fast, it's almost like they disappear like a ghost. Like a ghost of the forest. So a very cool group of animals. But we actually are now leaving the forest. We're about to enter one of the rivers. Now this is the Safi River, home for a lot of unique animals that live underwater. On the shore, it's even these little islands they hang out on, so we got a couple of areas to check out. I don't see too much on this side, so we'll see if there's anything on the left side of the river. There are, of course, a lot of different types of birds out here, but we're actually only really going to talk about one of them, the pink-backed pelicans, the big gray ones on the island there. Now, the pink-backed pelicans get very beautiful pink backs during mating season. Really cool way to show off if they are looking for any mates or not. We'll see who else we can find. I do know a couple of hippos live out here, so we'll keep an eye out for them too. Now, a hippo would spend majority of its day in water, only very rarely coming up to the land. Actually, on the land, I found a different group of animals. These are the Nile crocodiles. Now, Nile crocodiles are the largest crocs you could find in Africa. They grow to be about 18 feet long. Now, 18 feet will make them just a little over half the size of this truck. So because of that fact, we try our best to not really hang out on that old bridge for too long. So we'll go ahead and speed up a little bit more and get on out of here. We'll keep on going down from here. We're actually not too far away from the savannah. The savannah is the largest area out here, home for a lot more animals like the giraffe, the elephants, and there's even some lions that can be found out there. Now, one of the first signs we'll be entering the savannah up ahead is actually a pretty cool tree not too far away. We'll be seeing the baobab tree. So most people, they call it an upside down tree. So we'll go try to check it out in a little bit. It does look like there's a little bit of traffic going on in the savannah, because we're actually not too far away right now. But here's the upside down tree on the right. Ta-da! Kind of looks like it's upside down because it has some roots that grow out of the ground instead of in the ground. Now, even though those look like they're roots, those are actually just branches. Those branches will remain leafless for about 9 months. But if you start looking out here between the trees, you can see there's a couple of animals all over the savannah. We'll see them a little bit further up ahead. It does seem like a lot of them probably have been getting in and out of the road if we're all backed up here.
Look at that bird.
Now from up here, I can see a couple animals. They are very far down the road though. Looks like there were some giraffe just walking around. And I do see some of the cattle. Some very large animals with very long horns. Looks like we're also going to see a lot of wildebeest down that way too. You can kind of see the cattle a little bit better now. They're way off to the right side. Now the first thing many people notice about them are those horns, of course. Those horns are going to be about 4 feet long. So we'll get a little bit of a closer view of them from the looks of it up ahead. Kind of just walking around there. But before we get to the cattle, we'll make a quick stop by one of the caves. Caves are actually really great homes for predators. Now, the thing is with the cave, we never really know who's here when, because a lot of these predators, they just fight over this territory. So we'll see who's here right now. Ooh, actually, it's the African wild dogs right here on the left. They're also known as painted dogs. Now, even though these are dogs, they're not really pets. They're actually one of the more dangerous animals you could find out here, with a 90% success rate in catching their prey. Now, what makes the dogs so successful at hunting is that they hunt in groups. These groups, they do not stop chasing down their prey until they catch them. Chasing down that prey for an entire hour if they had to. You see, they're kind of practicing there. A couple running around. They might start chasing them in a little bit. Very cool animals. Of course, they're also very cute, but that's how they trick you, of course. Very, very dangerous. We're also going to try to get a better view of the cattle and the wildebeest up ahead. See even some of the sable antelope down that direction. I believe some of the cattle are kind of messing with the truck in front of us, putting their horns in the road. There they go. Now they're crossing the road. Taking their time though. So hopefully this means we're going to get some very close views of them. Seeing how closely they are just camping out right next to the road. Now you can see the wildebeest, the majority on this left side. The sable antelope are the ones with the dark red fur hanging out back there. They're just chilling. They're actually the emblem of the reserve, so they're kind of like local celebrities. Looks like she's planning on just hanging out right there. So we're going to go a bit more to the left than normal. Might get a little bit bumpier. Now those cattle, they are very unique to the reserve, being the only domesticated animal you could find out here. Domesticated way back in the 19th century. Now they're domesticated by the Watusi tribe of Africa, so in honor of that group, we also just call them Watusi cattle. There's also all the wildebeest down there. Those are some of the white-bearded wildebeest. That specific type of wildebeest, they only really migrate once a year, which is a great thing because they migrate in groups of 1.5 million, traveling about 500 to 1,000 miles together too. So while we did see a pretty big group, it's definitely not over 1 million of them. There's also another one of the cattle here. Walking around, hanging out. And I may notice they also look a lot like cows. I suppose they're actually very closely related to a cow, especially in the North American time. Now they're so closely related to the cow that they're actually considered their cousin. So these are like their half-freaking cousins out here. They have a couple similarities, like the fact that they both make the same mooing sounds, but they also have a couple of differences. Now both the male and the female cattle grow horns. Normally only male cows grow horns in America. And you can see this one's kind of bullying some of the Patterson eland here, stealing the food from them. You can see a couple of the moms and 2 little baby ones. The Patterson eland, they're actually the largest antelope you could find out in Africa. The two females, the moms, they stand at about 4 feet tall from their shoulders, and they weigh about 1,200 pounds. We'll keep an eye out for their dads. They can't be too far away, but Dad, he's actually pretty big, standing at 5 feet tall, weighing 2,000 pounds. But actually, before we look for Dad Eland, I see one of the giraffe on our left side. He's eating out of the trees. There's actually a bunch of them eating out of the trees. So looks like this is where they all headed to when we were on top of that hill. Now, there's a couple of the adults. You can see one of the baby ones back there kind of playing around with Mom. The full-grown adult giraffe, they stand at 20 feet tall, which very easily makes them the tallest animals in the whole world. Now, the little baby ones, they do look a little small, but keep in mind they're not that small at all. A baby giraffe is firstborn, standing at 6 feet tall. So it's pretty crazy to think that all those giraffes you see there, they were just born taller than probably half of us on the truck right now. Very cool group of animals to see, kind of just hanging out. Of course, whenever you do see a group of giraffe, it's called a tower. Kind of makes sense. We're leaving the savannah just for a little bit. We're going through a jungle. I can see some monkeys like right here on the left, right by those rocks. It's one of the mandrills. You see the big one walking back there. And the mandrills, they're known for their red and blue noses. So if you know who Rafiki is, Rafiki's a mandrill. Hello. She's looking at us. One of the male mandrills, he's actually pretty big. Oh, I think it's the baby. She's in the tree. See, he's swinging around, falling down. There he goes. I made it. So this is a little tiny family. It's Mama Mandrill watching after the kid. I can see Papa Mandrill. He's on the move back there. He's actually pretty big. I can tell he's still a little small, but mandrills, they are the largest monkeys in Africa. He's the largest one in this group. Now, there are larger monkeys throughout the rest of the world, but a mandrill's as big as Africa has. We would try to explore the jungle a little bit more, but this road's closed. We'll see if there's anything hanging out back here before we go. Yeah, there's not much there, so we'll keep on moving. This road actually takes us back into the savannah, so we're going to probably find some more animals out that way. The only thing is, in order to get back to the savannah, we do have to cross over this really old bridge. Now, don't worry about it too much. It's pretty safe. We did fix it up for you guys. You can see a lot of the broken parts. They're fixed with some rope. You can't really see this, but under the bridge, it's fixed with a lot of duct tape, so we are super safe. Just in case, though, we are going to floor it out of here, so let's go ahead and get going. Well, it looks like we're going to go through one of the red clay pits. Now, all over these walls is a bunch of clay. There's actually some really cool markings on that right side. Those are elephant tusk marks. I even see their giant footprints here in the dirt that seem to lead out to those ones I see way over there on the left. So let's see if we can get closer to them. I think we found a whole entire elephant herd. Now, elephant herds can be very large in numbers. They're very social animals. They love to interact with other elephants and other animals too. The herds grow to be very large in numbers because of how social they are. Just keep on inviting more and more elephants to join their group. See, looks like a couple are hiding back in the shade behind the tree and the rocks there. I do see some others walking around, so we'll try to catch up to the ones walking past the watering hole there. Looks like we'll see a lot of the adults, so we'll keep an eye out for the kids too. You see one of them here. There's a couple more that are back behind those rocks, so we'll try to get a view of those ones around the corner. Now, the elephants out here, they're very important. They actually build watering holes like the one next to us there and the one that the flamingos live in up ahead. The elephants have the amazing ability to sense water under their feet. They can feel the vibrations underground, and they'll eventually start digging up little holes that eventually become watering holes. Now, the flamingos, they live in one of those holes that were made by elephants. These are actually some of the greater flamingos. They are the largest flamingos in Africa, and also just the lightest shade of pink of any type of them. Now, if you look behind all those flamingos, it's a little hard to tell. There's a baby elephant back there. She's right in front of one of the rocks. She's moving around. She's only about a year old, so of course she's very, very small. She's a little cutie, though. We'll move up a little bit more, see if we can get one more view of her without all those little bushes in the way, because she's still super small. You barely see her because she's still so small, but it'll take a couple more years before she's as big as the rest of the group. It looks like the two that are behind her is her older sister and her mom. Now, she's actually never going to leave the herd. Male elephants, they normally leave at 13, but female elephants, no matter how old they get, they never leave the herd because of mom. Mother and daughters, they spend their entire lives they have together with each other. So the two sisters and mom, they're going to be together for a very long time. Actually, keep on moving up ahead here. I see, looks like a rhino walking down the road up ahead on our left side. He's walking around over there. He is moving around pretty fast, so we'll see if we can catch up to him. It looks like he might have left this area. There's a huge mud pit in the middle here to our left. Rhinos actually just love playing around in the mud, and I do see some muddy footprints heading down the road. There's a couple of reasons why the rhinos love playing around in mud. It's kind of like their own sunscreen. It also is pretty fun, so a couple of reasons there. He went down that way. I think he kind of is heading down that path there. You just barely see him in front of us. So he's kind of in front of the other safari truck, so hopefully we can get a good view of him. We're also going to keep an eye out for other animals that could be hanging out over here. I do know a couple of cheetahs live over here. I'm looking by all the trees on the left. It's normally where they like to hide. I think I see one laying down over there, right between two trees. Barely see its head, it's kind of poked up. A little bit of light there. Now, the cheetahs love hanging out in this specific area because of their amazing camouflage. Those little black spots they have help them blend in with the shadows, while the lighter color of their fur helps them blend in with the sunlight that goes through the holes of the trees. So normally when they're laying down like that, they look like they are the ground. I can only really see her because she has her head poked up. Now, when she's running around, a cheetah actually could run at about 60 miles per hour, even reaching that speed in just about 3 seconds. Now, the rhino, he went down that path over there on the left. I'm trying to go around slowly to make sure he doesn't pop up out of nowhere. Ooh, now it looks like we're actually going to see some lions over here as well. I see one of them already. There he is. There's also the rhino on our left. There he is. I knew he'd pop up again. So we'll do a quick stop for him here. It's one of the white rhinos. It's a very big guy. White rhinos, they weigh 5,000 pounds. He's 2,000 pounds heavier than his sleepy cousin, the black rhino. He might be headed this way, so we'll get out of his way here. He'll probably end up following us down the road. Yeah, I think he's going to follow us. Now, you also see one of the lions all the way on top of the rocks. We're going to try to get a view for around the corner, get the sun out of the way. Yeah, it looks like he's kind of following us back there, but he's focused on getting some food. Ooh, actually, there's a lioness right over here, too. You see she's laying at the edge of the rocks. Let's move up a little bit more so we can see her face. I even see the male lion over there, too. See, she's poked her head up. Now, lions spend 20 hours of their day inactive. They spend most of that time asleep, as you can tell with her. I see the male lion over here. The first lioness I saw, she's over here as well. She's on top of those rocks all the way up there. Those 4 hours of the day you'll find the most awake and most active is typically at night. During nighttime, that's when lions go out and hunt. Until then, this is pretty much what they do all day. Lying around. Yeah. Now, if you do want to see a little bit more awake and active, I do recommend coming back here a little bit later tonight for a nighttime safari. Those are the best times to find those lions finally awake. Like I said, they'll be sleeping all day. With them sleeping in, a couple more animals are around here. Normally at night you don't find much. But right now you can see some of the bontebok on our right side. I also did see one of the water buck, but I guess he kind of, yeah, he's actually hanging out by the grass way over there. Yeah, there's our big rhino friend. Looks like he got out that way. Took the exit out. Yeah, it does look like the one from earlier. So he's been traveling. I think he's been blocking one of the trucks the whole time. Now these two brown and white animals, the Bontebok, they're actually really close relatives to wildebeest. So the Bontebok are pretty cool. The water buck, they're hanging out by the grass a little bit further back. They're part of the antelope family, and they actually have a water-resistant fur, which is really cool. The water buck used that fur to escape from predators out here. All they have to do is just run in water. So it doesn't slow them down, but it will slow down whatever's chasing them. It's more likely whatever's chasing the water buck does not have water-resistant fur. Now we gotta go over one more bridge. This one's a little old, but it's not too bad. Just pretty clumpy. I can see, looks like one of the yellow-billed storks on our right by the tree. And I also see one of my favorite animals up ahead, the scimitar horned oryx on our left on the hill. The scimitar horned oryx is one of my favorites. He has those really cool horns on his head, which are shaped like scimitar swords. So he's actually named after a sword, which is a really cool way to get your name. Now, he can be found out in the Sahara Desert. The desert's a pretty harsh area, but he has no problem with it at all. His body temperature goes up to around 116 degrees. Even at that body temperature, it won't break a single sweat. And if the oryx had to, it would go just around 10 months not drinking a single drop of water. A very, very cool animal. But through these gates up ahead, they do mark the end of the reserve, so I want to thank all of you for choosing Kilimanjaro Safaris, because when it comes to safaris, we go wild.